Bonjour, mon cheries. Missed you guys. And I have something nice for you. Today we're going to explore fonts in how they can connect to SVGs after we're done with them in Inkscape. So as you can see here, I have made this interesting small button and it has a font for its text. Well, first of all, let's discuss a bit about the button. Come into my experimental laboratory. So I've done a few variations. Like for example, I'd tried with corners like this, like this, like this. I tried to make it non-destructive either as well, because yeah, well, as much as I could, but for some reason I can't quite get offset with masking to work pleasantly. So yeah, that's a bit of a trick. Although I think that the best approach would be for a special case scenario where you can use group masking, group clipping, I mean, sorry. But yeah, that I didn't want to bother with that, so I just transformed this part here, this small edge, this corner, into a simple path, and I was done with that one. So yeah, I've tried various lengths and things like this. I kind of like this. Although this one isn't bad either. It's a bit more strong, but I like this one. Anyway. Oh, and the background is also made in Inkscape. It's not an image. Let me see text. So basically what I did here was to create some paths like so. And then I've created some interesting effects to kind of simulate these smudges. And the funny thing is that they do work in the browser. So I kind of liked this and I stuck with it. Looks nice, I don't know. And it gives that, well, obviously I do not recommend that you create, for example, I don't know, production material for your websites or things like that the way that I have done it, because it's gonna add up. It's not very well, it is user friendly, but I mean it consumes a lot of resources, and we'll see that in a moment. But anyway, and this is just by the by. Let's have a look at the button in action. So here it is in the browser. Let me just get this. Okay, so it looks pretty decent. I didn't finish everything. I just made it a bit bigger so I can see it better. But the point is that the text is selectable. But this is a font that is installed on my PC. So for example, if I would want to share it through a web browser on a page or give it to somebody else, well, they would have to download this particular font. But if they don't know the name of the font, well, tough luck, you can't get this one. So we are going to address this. Okay, let me see where I can start. Let me get my file. Oh gosh, I opened so many things here. I'm overwhelmed. There we go. So in here we have our drawing. We have our font, which this font is not installed on my computer. So we are going to implement this font within the SVG. But first I want to show you something. Inside this page is this index. Let's introduce up here a simple text. So let me get myself this. And ignore this part for now. it's not important. So I've created a div here and it's gonna be red because I've set it red. So let's just type text and see what happens. Bam. We get this text with this font. So how did we do that? Magic, obviously. That is the answer to everything. I'm doing two things here. I am importing font CSS, which is this CSS file. This one is just setting the background, the color of the background, which is this dark gray. The object in this case, I've set it to 300 pixels to make the button bigger, and the color red is to give it this specific text, the color red with the specified font. Now, if I want to make sure that well, these are classes. So if I want to make sure that this applies to this text, I can just, for example, put the wrong name of the file here for the CSS, and there we go. We default to the standard font, which I think it's Arial. I'm not 100% sure. Good, so let's see what happens in font CSS. Well, font CSS basically does two things. First of all, it creates the font class. It actually imports the font from this path, which is in the same folder in this case. And then I'm giving it a nickname. In this case, I'm giving the same name, but it's a nickname to find it easier. So when I type font family, I find it instantly. So in this case, I attach the font class to this div over here. And this one is just a simple text. Don't overthink it, it's actually quite simple. I know it might look confusing and overwhelming at first, but in actuality, they're quite simple elements. I'm just taking the font and connecting it to the text. Now, you might ask, why did I put it in a separate file, this font CSS, and why am I importing it like this? Well, to answer that, we have to scroll down here. And initially, I wanted to inject into this object, into this SVG in the drawing that we're importing, the button, directly the font class. So initially I had this one copied over here instead of the import. And it didn't work. No matter how hard I tried, it really needs for the path of this font to be specified in the SVG itself. And I could do that through JavaScript, but it would mean to append, to inject a whole lot of code. Well, I can just type 2 lines of code and simplify everything. So this one basically imports our CSS file, which is this with the font, right? So let's go into our Inkscape and let's take a dive in here. Obviously, we can't see anything in here because I'm skipping the first style. Well, I'm not skipping the first style. The first style actually imports the font. In this case, it's font CSS. And then I am applying it to a text. Now, in this case, it's not this font. The font in question is applied to text 1 and text 2, but they're being applied in a different way. So first I'm gonna address text 2, 21 in this case, sorry. So let's look at text 21. So it says it has class text font. Okay, I'm gonna go here in my style and I see that right now I have only this font CSS, which is being imported. Damn you. And it's importing the font class, but we're not using the font class. So the font class is, well, I should probably be more careful with this. It should be like this. It should not be indented in the other style. Anyway. The point is that I've created the secondary style, and in here I've basically copied everything from font CSS. I've copied them here, and I've replaced the font class with text font. So in this case, this particular text is connecting through this piece of CSS. This piece of CSS is internal. This piece of CSS is external. They both do the same thing, but in this case, if I want to only apply it inside my SVG, I do it via this way, by putting all of the lines of the CSS inside this style. Or I can have them put in an external file and import it through this line of code. Now the second text, which is text 1, is having the class font from our file. See? Font, font. So these are the two ways to do it. Now, the advantage of doing it with the import of the CSS file is that you can easily manipulate the font from outside the page. So right now I have saved the CSS, the SVG, sorry. And now if I refresh, nothing happens. Probably because I need to reopen it. Oh, come on. I forgot to hide all of these icons. No, what the heck? Why aren't you working, you bastard? Okay, now I messed it up completely. I don't know how. Well, I've done something to it. Clearly, it doesn't like what I'm doing to it. Let's try to fix it. I don't know. So, what went wrong? Everything. Okay, I'm gonna try to remove this one. And I'm just importing this style. So if I should... Let's try a revert. Yeah, this one now resets because it doesn't have the text. So let's see in our browser. Our browser is messed up really, really bad. I don't know why it's not displaying the font here anymore. What the heck did I do? Is this not the file? It is the file. Oh, I've crippled it for some reason. Okay, let's try at least to apply the font back here. Class font. So this should work now. Oh, there we go. Right on the fly. But yeah, this one doesn't want to display at all. I have no idea how I broke it. But I broke it. This is also a reason why not to do SVGs directly like so. You should just export them as PNGs with no background. They're gonna be okay, even if you zoom in. Let's see, maybe it's because I've zoomed in. Boom. Did I mess something up here? No. Okay, the point is that this external font CSS is also used by this text in this div. So I can change the values from only one spot, one file, in this case font CSS, and it affects both the SVG and the text file. Now let's see what we can do about this SVG. Nothing. It's dead. Why are you dead, SVG? Okay, let me try to remove the object size. Well, that's not gonna work. Let's try again. Nope, I really messed it up. Did I drag it from its spot because I've placed it in the specific area to display correctly. Yeah, probably something messed up in the XML. It was working before, you guys saw it. Let's try something quirky. Let's try to save as optimized PNG. Oh, optimized SVG, sorry. Drawing 2. Yes. Okay, now let's get amazed at what kind of weird things we're gonna do. Where is it? Nope, it really messed up. Well, the point is that if you want to import, but this one is appearing for some reason. I have no clue. This one is clipping over here. So if you want to import a font into your SVG, you do it this way clearly. But make them PNGs. Just be sane and make them PNGs. Yeah. And yeah, one more thing I want to show you guys. If I'm gonna make this one, let's say 2000 pixels height. You see, it's pretty big, but it's also lagging our browser. And this is because clearly we have a lot of effects that are happening here. I also added some grain to it, some film grain, and yeah, it's killing the website. You know, it's not even generating correctly on this point. So avoid it. If you want to make a single element in your page, sure. But make sure it's not zoomed in like this. See, even if I try to zoom out, it's killing it. So let's just try to remove it altogether. Refresh it. Okay, we look much better now. Even if you zoom like this, normally it's starting to lag. So, yeah. I'm not entirely sure why. But probably it's trying to expand all of these vectors and calculating their position. So, be careful with that. And again, spoiler alert, don't copy any code like crazy. Always think what your code is doing before you insert it, and then try it. Like in this case, I've left this JavaScript here. Maybe it can help you guys in further projects, because this one, you can, basically what this does, this first part is selecting this object. And then we load inside this object. From inside this object, we look for the document, for the content of the document, and we look for the ID of text1. In this case, it was the text underneath. And then I wanted to add the class font, and the console log basically is a way to check inside the browser. So for example, if I'm gonna enable this this code, and I'm gonna refresh over here, well, we get an error. Bottom text is null. Probably because I changed the ID. Probably. So I don't even know where it is. Where is the ID? Did I delete them? Probably this is the reason why it's not showing up. I don't see the ID there. Huh? Wild. Wild. Anyway, I'll fix this in the final render and give it to you guys on the G drive, so you can have fun with it. But the point is that this is represented over here. We get a small information that our whole code is being brought in. Anyway, enough lollygagging. I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Stay awesome, and bye 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 bye.